Hey guys, it's Random Guy here. Before I start with the guide, I'm doing a 100ml giveaway. Since this is one part of a two-part series, I will be doing another 100ml giveaway on the second video too. So make sure you come to that video because you have a chance to win not once but twice. These giveaways will only last for the first week that each video is up, so you might want to subscribe so you know when the next video is coming out. Since this is the guide on how to semi-AFK Magister with magic, to enter this giveaway, you will need to like this video and comment your Runescape name and the word magic in the comments below. After the new tier 95 staff comes out, I will be making an updated version of this video with another 100ml giveaway. The other video is about how to semi-AFK with range. Another thing to know is that I will always be doing a giveaway for every money making video that I make to help people afford the items needed to do these guides. If you like this, and if you like this video, please subscribe. This method can be done without auras, but auras help so much that I would use them. If you've watched any of my past videos, you'll notice that I really hate the aura system, and I try to do whatever I can to avoid them while AFKing. Now, unlike my other guides though, this is going to have a lot more requirements and higher tier items. You don't have to have my exact builds though. For example, I'm using Elite Tectonic body and legs, but I've done hours with regular Tectonic too, and it worked out just fine. But if you have the money to upgrade, it will make your life a little easier and a little bit more AFK. You can always start with lower tier gear, and work to afford better gear by doing this method. So to do this boss, you will need 115 Slayer, 95 plus Prayer, 96 plus Herblore, and a key to the crossing for each kill. I would actually say that you need 99s in both defense and magic. Your best friend is DPS here, and it doesn't help when you're missing half of your hits or not hitting your highest because you're only level 90 or something. But let's be realistic. If you have 115 Slayer, there's like a 99% chance you already have 99 in both of these. So for the quests, you need to have completed the Cynthia Sentiston for the Animate Dead spell. That's it. So for this method, we're taking advantage of this new spell. What Animate Dead does is it gives you 10% of your magic tank armor's value as straight damage reduction, and you'll get another 33% of your defense level as another damage reduction. This means magic tank armor gear is a must, no matter what combat style you're using. Now for the part that you've either been waiting for, or the part that you've skipped to. For your first tank gear piece, you will need at least Ganodermic, but if you have regular Sea Singers and have been looking for a place to use it like I have, this works too. Superior Sea Singers is obviously the best for this. For the boots, I'm using Hailfire boots, but again you can go with Ganodermic. That's the two pieces of tank armor that we need. So now that I'm satisfied with the amount of tank armor I'm wearing, I'm using an Elite Tectonic robe top and bottom for DPS. For gloves, I'm using Cinderbanes. For my cape slot, I'm using a Takhar Call Mesh cape. Try saying that 3 times. Next is an Essence of Finality. In this, I have a Gothic staff. This is really nice because it provides a defense debuff on Magister, making you hit a lot harder. It also hits incredibly hard itself. I affectionately refer to this thing as my mini Tuska's Wrath at Magister. I'll show you a cool trick with it later on in the video. Next I have on a rune pouch with death runes, blood runes, and soul runes. In my pocket slot, I use a scrimshaw of the elements. Another cheaper but also pretty good item to put in there instead if you don't want to spend that much GP is an Illuminated Bandos Godbook. This Godbook lowers the boss's defense level by 5. I like using this because it gives a helpful debuff on the boss that also stacks with your Gothic staff and with Vuln. It is also one of the cheapest Godbooks to use. If you want more DPS from your book itself though, if you still want to go the Godbook route, you could still go with Saradomin or Armadillo, but it is more expensive. I'd actually rather just go with the Scrimshaw of the Elements if you're going to go with one of those. Just to make sure though, if you are using a Godbook, make sure they are illuminated for the extra stats. As for my ring slot, I am using a Luck of the Dwarves because it does increase the drop rate of phylacteries. I also wear it because I've gotten 3 blurberries so far. I will get it one day, and I refuse to not wear one or have the Luck of the Dwarves relic active and get a Cheese and Tom Bata, because then I probably will cry. Now for the inventory setup. You will need at least one Elder Overload flask, or at least the best overload that you have. Then a Super Restore flask and a Weapon Poison ++ vial or flask. It doesn't really matter which, they last for 10 minutes. You need Super Restores and not Prayer Pots, because in Phase 2 of every fight, Magister will gradually lower your Constitution level in set intervals, making it so every time you eat, your food heals you less and less. Ceridome and Bruise are not affected by this though. Each Super Restore sip takes off 7 stacks of this effect. Next is an Ancient Elven Ritual Shard. If you don't want to use this for some free prayer points every now and again, you can just lose one shark and replace it with another Super Restore pot. Next is an Enhanced Excalibur for free heals. Then I have Vuln Bombs. These are needed even for magic because you will be camping in the Ancient Spellbook, so we don't have access to things like Vuln. Plus, it works every time, and you don't have to potentially sit there trying to hit him with it repeatedly and splashing. Then there are some keys to the crossing and some sharks. You can bring any food that you want and as many as you want. I just have over 50,000 sharks in my bank and I just want to use some. Lastly, I have a rune pouch with fire and earth runes. These runes plus the runes in your rune pouch in your pocket slot will give you both Blood Barrage and the Animate Dead spells, which is what we want. For my Archaeology relics, I'm using Death Ward, Berserker's Fury, and Fury of the Small. If you want to use the LOTD relic instead of one of these, you could bring a Ring of Death or an Asylum Surgeon's Ring. If you don't have an Asylum Surgeon's Ring, check out my wife's Broken Home Quest Guide. The link is down below in the description. Alright, for the invention perks. You do have some leeway here, by the way. But on my augmented body, I have on Biting 4 and Relentless 5 Crackling 4. Enhanced Devoted isn't worth it because we'll be praying Soul Split and not using Protection Prayers. For the legs, I use Impatient 3 and Absorbative 4. Absorbative might sound a little odd, but it does give a 20% chance of reducing damage you take by 5% per rank, or 22% chance if the item is level 20. This stacks with your Animate Dead spell, so this is very nice to have. Alternatively, you could go with the Lucky perk, as it turns a hit you would have taken into only 1 damage. Since some hits can hit a couple K, this could be a lifesaver. One last thing though, if you do Magister on Slayer tasks, Genocidal will be a really good perk for you to put here. While on the topic of Slayer actually, the Tuska's Wrath ability works during this fight. I would personally recommend using it when you get Magister to about 15k HP left, as this will immediately finish him off. Now on my staff, I have Precise 6, Ruthless 1, and Aftershock 4, Equilibrium 2. One thing you should know is that the first kill will always be the slowest. Over time, you will start building up Corruption stacks, which will greatly increase the damage you deal. It also increases the damage you take, but that's not really much of an issue because Soul Split will be healing you more. Now we're getting into the mechanics. Here are the things you really can't ignore or 100% AFK through. Sometimes Magister will yell, "Dodge this," and he will throw a vial that will deal 4,000 damage to you if you don't move away from it. If it lands between you and Magister, you could kick it back to him, dealing 4k damage to him instead, but so many times have I misclicked and not kicked it, and I just ate a 4k hit, sometimes killing me while I'm camping low health. So I say it's not really worth it, and to just move a couple squares away. When he yells, "You dare fight me?" he will barge you and then stun you and turn off all your protective prayers. Now this really doesn't mean anything because we're not really praying any protection prayers, we're praying Soul Split. So for this, all you do is you click the abilities Combust and then Shock to bleed him and then force him to walk backwards 1 tile, which will double the bleed damage to himself. This does help with your kill times a little bit, but it also gets rid of one of his mechanics that he only does if he is in melee distance to you. Lastly, he will sometimes spawn 2 Imperial Ox to attack you. Unlike the Slayer monsters though, these can't use abilities. Most of the time, I just AFK through these while my AoEs take them down, but sometimes I do have to kill one real quick with like a wild magic or something. If you leave one of them alive, the boss can't spawn them in again. This is also the mechanic that he uses the least, so it really won't be too much of a problem. At 50k HP, Magister will enter an enraged state, where his damage dealt to you will increase a lot, but his defense will also decrease. Now this is where I think the true glory of the Gothic Staff spec shows. Yes, this ability puts a defense debuff on the boss. Yes, we know that, random guy, move on. Hear me out though. The debuff plus the Vuln, plus the corruption stacks. This baby constantly hits 7 to 9,000 damage with a tier 92 weapon, and slightly lower with a tier 90. Like the difference is barely even measurable. Also, it reapplies the debuff. The best part about this is that it only costs 25% adrenaline, so with the Fury of the Small Relic and Impatient 3, you can almost spam this. And if using the ability Natural Instinct before this, oh boy. This deals great damage all of the time, but when he reaches 50k HP left and goes into that Zerker phase, it hits like a truck. Not even like a truck, it's like hitting someone with not one truck but 5. It's complete overkill and I love it. So at the beginning of every kill, you're gonna do better than me, cause I mess this up every time like the noob I am. But make sure you immediately Vuln Bomb him, and then use your Gothic Staff spec to debuff him further. Most of the not AFK stuff is in the first 5 seconds and the last 5 seconds of every kill. I've made about 300 mil a day, but I do play a lot. It averages about 12 to 15 hours to make one Kopesh, but it is great XP. If you divide that, that's like 20 mil an hour. Even if you play for half that time, that's 150 mil a day, doing something that requires minimal effort. And since you really don't need auras to do this, you don't really ever need to stop. Personally, I would circle auras like Dark Magic and Zerker auras and stuff like that if you have it. Even Penance just to keep up your prayers, or Vamp for extra heals. You know, just whatever you got, right? Well, that's all for this video. I think I've told you everything that you need to know for you to be able to semi-AFK this on your own. So let me leave you off with this. For me to stay as a YouTuber, I need to get 4,000 hours of watch time and 1,000 subscribers. Sounds easy. But fun fact, not just on my channel, because my channel is small. I literally just started, so I can't be demanding numbers like that, and I'm not. But did you know that all across YouTube, the average time someone actually watches your video is under 2 minutes, and less than 5% actually subscribe. So if you made it all the way through this, please tell me in the comments. I will be genuinely surprised. Thank you for watching my guide, and good luck with those drops. I got my boss title at 14kc. You might have the same luck.